Hey guys, welcome back. So now with this one, we're getting back into the soon ending Hulk Volume 5 series, which started off with it being written by Donny Cates with the artwork from Ryan Ottley, but for issues 11 through 14, Ryan Ottley's continuing the writing as well as doing the art. And now at this point, with us getting into issue 12, we've reached part 4 of Hulk Planet, which from here then takes us into the Titan Takeover, which will pretty much be the swan song for this series with issues 13 and 14. But even with that being the case, I got a feeling that Ryan Ottley's gonna make this one go out with a bang. But with that being said, let's get into it. But first, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch the spills every week, and don't forget to hit that bell up top so we can squat up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so for this one, we come right back just after the crazy mix-up with the protectors of the arterial dimensional between space, which was more like a never-ending loop of super cops who were coming after Bruce, who otherwise would have kept coming until one of them finally came to their senses. But nonetheless, like we'd seen, this eventually had led to Bruce saving the annual Godball game, which in turn not only made him more of a hero to the other Hulks on this planet, but also it caused Bruce to really consider starting a new life out here, or at the least, staying here for the long term. But with seeing Bruce say this is something I'm sure most would probably compare to Peace in Our Time Part 2, with the events from Incredible Hulk Volume 2, Issue 89, leading into Issue 92 with Planet Hulk. But for Peace in Our Time, which for the most part really was the Hulk being used and discarded by Nick Fury, who had tracked down the Hulk and shot him into space in order to trick the Hulk into destroying God's Eye, which was a shield weapon that became a threat, but it had the ability to match the strength of any enemy. But as it turned out, it couldn't adapt to someone with unlimited strength. But then at the time, after the Hulk got the job finished, the Illuminati hit him up, and they were more or less like, hey buddy, we just don't want you to come back. But the major differences between what we got in Planet Hulk and the events leading up to it versus what we're seeing now with Hulk Planet is that with Daniel Way and eventually Greg Pak, we saw the Hulk being sent away against his will, to where he later then carved out his own life after thriving in the harshness of the planet Sakaar, where he then formed the Green Scar identity with a base level strength much higher than your Savage Hulk. But I say this because now in Hulk Planet, it's different because we're dealing with Banner. He's in control. For the most part, we'll get back to that part in a little bit, but with Banner creating the Starship Hulk and taking over the Hulk's body, we now see him arriving on an alien world, but this time it's full of Hulks who see him as a god. So not only are we exploring the experience of a different persona, but also with us following Bruce in the Starship Hulk, we're exploring a world that's very different. But again, for Bruce, with him experiencing all this love and adoration on this Hulk planet where he doesn't have to worry about smashing too much, and he's adored and embraced rather than feared and pushed away, he is seriously considering extending his stay here. And the leader of this world, Monolith, agrees, but there's just one problem. Because with all the knowledge of the Hulk that she's downloaded, she still doesn't fully understand the complexities of the Hulk's dissociative identities, because she tells him that he's welcome to stay. The Hulk is welcome to stay. He belongs here, but he's got to let the Bruce side of himself go, so that the Hulk can be his true self here and truly be free. But of course, with her saying this, we know that this is Bruce she's talking to, and he's not exactly on board with being annihilated. So he cuts the conversation short and he tells Monolith to stick to the simple things that her simple mind can understand. Yikes. But after this, we then see Bruce head over to another therapy session with Doc Samson. But even as he makes his way there, he notices that his admiral and his lieutenant from his crew are missing, which at this point are signs of Bruce still not fully having control, with his crew members being constructs of himself, and one by one they're missing in action. But with Bruce heading to another one of his daily therapy sessions with Doc Samson, he gets straight to the point, letting Doc know that he really likes it here, but he knows that things can go left at any moment, because Bruce can feel the Titan Hulk growing as it's looming and waiting somewhere in the corner of his mind. And he tells Doc Samson that he can't let this thing get out on this world or it's over. But at the same time, Bruce doesn't know if he can stop this because he's not sure if he can contain this thing. But for a moment, the Doc suggests that Bruce tries to go back to normal as a solution. But again, Bruce sees the Starship Hulk as him finally getting what he's wanted, which is control over his own body. And with him saying this, the Doc questions if Bruce really is in control. But also at this time, we find that Monolith is speaking to one of her scientists again, in relation to the scans that they had made that showed him that the Hulk, or air quotes, Bruce Banner, since that's what he asked to be called at the time, is going to die. But make no mistake, Monolith wants to save the Hulk. She can care less about Banner. and she believes that the way to save the Hulk is to remove all of that tech, which ironically is the same suggestion that Doc Samson had made, though in his case for other reasons. But while all of this is happening, meanwhile in the engine room, the Hulk is being taunted by the Titan, who tells the Hulk, "Here, in your little cage, you're useless. Bruce controls you, but I own you. I made you. I own every part of Bruce's mind. I infest every corner of his thoughts. I am coming. I will be all-consuming," as he just tosses the Hulk all around the engine room. But also back with Banner, during his therapy session, he sees the Titan Hulk just outside of the window, lingering again as Brian Banner. And when Bruce sees this, he's not paying much attention to Doc Samson, but with what the doc is saying, I think he's really hitting the nail on the head with his diagnosis, because he tells Bruce that past trauma could come back in waves, sometimes years later, and it can become all-consuming. And I gotta say, with how it stands now with Ryan Ottley taking over the series, I'm not entirely sure if he's ending it the same way that Donny Cates would've, or if he's taking certain liberties with the direction and the conclusion. With the Titan Hulk now seeming like it's stemming more from Bruce and his past trauma, instead of it continuing to focus on the Hulk and his trauma, which had manifested because of the Hulk over time seeing Bruce the same way that Bruce had seen his own father. Because before, and I mean it could just be me, but it really felt like a tale of the son becoming the father, with Bruce becoming the new Brian Banner and the Savage Hulk becoming the new Bruce. But after Cates left, now it seems like it's just playing out the fun aspects, which is fine, I guess, since Ryan Ottley really isn't being given the time to truly allow this whole thing to play out, since after this one there are only 2 issues left, with Marvel ending it early. But I really would have liked to have seen how the son becoming the father's story would have played out. Not to mention us getting a better explanation to the conclusion of Banner of War, which made it seem like the Titan Hulk was still in Asgard, and at some point before there were other plans for him to make his return. But of course, with Marvel cutting the series short, it just feels like Ryan Ottley's hand was forced to rush the return of the Titan a lot faster than what was originally intended. And I mean, again, this is just my thoughts from the outside looking in. I don't have any insider knowledge, nothing like that, just purely speculation. But at the tail end of Bruce's therapy session, Doc Samson lets him know that this returning trauma could be a sign that Bruce is ready to heal on a deeper level. And as it stands now, Bruce may be strong enough to make himself vulnerable and confront it. But we come to find that Bruce has ended his therapy session early, and as they leave, the doc tells Bruce that he can't run from this, because for Bruce, the only way out is to head straight through it. But while Bruce is talking to Doc and making his way back to the captain's chair, he sees his father again in passing, leaving the command deck, only for Bruce to then find that the Titan Hulk has slaughtered his entire crew. And with seeing this, Bruce is like, okay, he has to leave this planet now, because the Titan is here. And even though he's playing mind games with Banner, he's already begun to make his moves to take complete control. And with seeing this, Banner knows that he has to leave this planet now. But all at the same time, Monolith comes knocking at the door, while Doc Samson is still trying to reason with Bruce by telling Bruce that they need to get to a safe place so they can sort this out before the Titan Hulk takes over. Because after all, this is Bruce's mind, and he should have the advantage. But Doc Samson also asks Bruce, just in case everything gets out of hand, for Bruce to tell him who helped him create this mind palace. So if need be, Doc Samson can get their help and get them involved. But Bruce is just like, no, he's gonna take care of this himself, and he ends the program with the doc as Monolith forces her way into the room. And it's here with Bruce trying to leave for the sake of the safety of the people on this Hulk planet, when Monolith insists that she needs to talk to him and that he can't leave. And it's here where Bruce tries to shoot straight with her and tell her what's going on by saying that he has to go because there's something inside of him that he doesn't want to hurt anyone. But with him saying this, it sounds like he's talking about the nuclear devices that she found in his head. So right away, Monolith is just like, oh wow, you know, let us help you and let us find who did this to you so we can destroy them for it. But in response, Bruce, he gets more specific, which is something I like to see in moments like these, because there's a movie I saw recently where you just had a ton of these moments where one person could have just explained everything, but they didn't because it was a plot device. But either way, with Banner, it's here where he tells Monolith that the devices that she had found planted in his brain are Banner's gift to the Hulk. So when the time comes that Banner inevitably dies, instead of leaving the Hulk alone and unchecked, Banner is hoping that this will kill the Hulk along with him by blowing up the Hulk into enough tiny little pieces that are scattered so far from each other that the Hulk can't come back. But with saying this, Banner tells her that it's just too complex for her to understand, and he lets Monolith know that she just has to take his word for it. But when Banner then tries to take off, she tells Pave and Brutal to stop the Hulk because he's gone out of his mind. And it makes sense that Monolith would think this way, and not because she's less intelligent than what Bruce assumes that she is, but I can imagine with someone having all these gadgets going into their brain, how it might seem difficult for one to just take them at their word, especially after they express that they're having trouble in their mind as well. But with Pave pulling the Hulk back in, Brutal then starts to tear apart the starship components. And now with this happening, and Bruce having less and less control, the Titan Hulk takes this opportunity to move freely. To where then the first thing that the Titan does is throw Bruce in the engine room, but only seconds after Bruce is able to send out a pre-written SOS to Doc Samson. But then from here we head back to Earth for a moment, where we find that Dr. Strange is getting an urgent message from Doc Samson. And it's here where we discover that this whole time, Bruce's therapy sessions have actually been with the real Doc Samson, who currently at this time is Doc Sasquatch, which is a result of the crazy body switch we saw take place in Immortal Hulk. But then reaching out to Dr. Strange, he tells him the truth that the Hulk did not die in Asgard, but also he believes that Banner needs their help. But for Dr. Strange, with him quickly getting over the confusion of thinking that the actual Dr. Walter Langowski, Sasquatch, had the wrong number, he lets Leonard know, with Strange himself recently coming back from the dead, that he'd be a hypocrite for judging Bruce in this situation, and he goes on to ask Leonard what can he do to help. But meanwhile on the Hulk planet, Monolith is putting Banner's body through the gory process of having Banner removed, but they're seeing Banner as more or less an infection that she needs to get rid of in order to free the Hulk. But at this point, they're really approaching the danger zone, because now the Titan Hulk has stepped into the command chair, and he's prepared to crank up the engine room and fully take over Banner's body. But now with both Banner and the Hulk in the engine room, the Titan pushes the lever into stage 1 in order to build the Hulk's strength up so that he can take it for himself. But inside the engine room, before the Hulk engages, Banner lets him know that if he does this, then he'll be giving the Titan exactly what he wants. So instead, Banner tells the Hulk to sit down with him as they close their eyes and just breathe. And right away with Banner doing this, he goes back to what his mother had told him as a kid, which was that these waves do not crash on me, they break on me because I am strong. But then as the Titan cranks it up to stage 3, Banner finally realizes that it's not just him here. So instead of saying me and I, he says us and we, because he's not alone and him and the Hulk are in this together. But from here we then head back to Earth and we find that Dr. Strange and Doc Sasquatch have made their way to the Stark lab in Wundagore, since Tony had converted the dead Celestial that he was storing here into his latest Hulkbuster armor, which he flew into space, but he left behind the part of it that powered the portal, and that's the piece that the two of them need to get to the Hulk. But as they're making their way in, Dr. Strange asks Doc Sasquatch to fill him in on what exactly is going on here, and it's here where he lets Dr. Strange know how the program in Bruce's mind had linked the two of them through specific frequencies, which allowed Leonard to hold the therapy sessions all the way from Earth. But also he believes that with Bruce creating these different compartments within his mind, that this opened up trauma for Bruce in ways that he's never experienced before. And he tells Dr. Strange that he believes that Strange is the one who helped Bruce do this. But contrary to Leonard's belief, Strange assures him that he had nothing to do with this. And all Strange knows is what he'd heard from a source, which was that the magic that was used on Bruce was something unknown, something ancient and powerful. But he needs to know more if he's gonna be any help to Bruce. So from here he makes his way in. But then next, when we head back to the Hulk planet, we find that the Titan Hulk has grown tired of Bruce resisting, and it's from here where he cranks the engine room up to stage 9, where inside we just find Bruce and the Hulk enduring. But even now, with them still not giving the Titan what he wants, in frustration, the Titan throws the lever forward, breaking it right off of the console, to where immediately on the outside, those Titan beams start shooting out of the Hulk's eyes and his mouth, which then cause an insanely huge eruption to go off above the city, which from there just leaves us waiting for the next issue to find out how crazy the Titan takeover is gonna be, with the Titan now in full control of Banner's body, and no one in sight even remotely strong enough to contest this guy. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support, and for anyone who's new here who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/Dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.